Host Father TJ said, this is Corpus Christi Sunday. And I think it's the kickoff for a 3-year Eucharistic revival in the U.S. The Catholic bishops in the U.S., I don't know if they commissioned the study or not, but they saw that only about 30% of Catholics believe in the real presence of Christ. Now, people who go to church every week, that doubles to about 60%. Now, I'm an engineer and I've done some survey work and all that, and it makes me wonder, how did they come up with those numbers? Like, for example, look, we all tend to give positive examples when we're feeling good. So if you're having a good day, right? You just met the boyfriend, girlfriend of your dreams, you just got a job, that first day of the fall when we get out of this hot weather, and life is good, and you ask me a question, I'm more likely to say, yeah, sure, I believe. Similarly, or conversely, when we're having a bad day, like when it's 100 degrees and feels like 150, or you lost a job, or you broke up with your girlfriend or boyfriend, we tend to answer negatively, like, I'm not sure if I believe that. So how do they get past that feelings, right, to really see what we believe? Well, first thing I want to make real clear is that faith is not about feelings. I want to really make that clear. Faith is not about feelings. Let me ask you, would you say that St. Teresa of Calcutta, you might know her as Mother Teresa, was a faithful woman with strong faith? Well, yeah, we declared her as a saint. She had strong faith. But you know what? The last 10 years of her life, she wasn't feeling it. She wrote to her spiritual director, "The place in my soul for God is empty." Sometimes I hear my own heart crying out, "My God," and nothing else comes. The torture and pain I can't describe. But I tell you, I think her faith was never stronger than those times, because it was faith alone that kept her going. Faith alone that helped her to continue praying. Faith alone that helped her continue serving. Faith alone that helped her continue inspiring us. So, got to be careful when we think about what do we believe, is to disconnect from our, quote, feelings. And faith is also not about having the right answer to spout out, right? Look, I'm telling you, I can program my computer, right, so that every time I ask, is this the real presence of Christ in the Eucharist? And every time it would answer yes. But faith is not just knowing the right answers. Faith is defined as realization for what is hoped for and evidence of what is not seen. Now, hope implies uncertainty, right? For example, we wouldn't say we hope the sun comes up tomorrow. Why? Because we know that's going to happen, right? It's like we could hope there's rain tomorrow, right? We're not so sure about that. Okay, and when we measure or we talk about uncertainty, it's always given sort of as ranges or percentages, right? It's 50% plus or minus 10%, right? But it's never a yes, no, right? And faith is not a yes, no. Faith is always about more or less. So, how would you answer that question? Do you believe that the Eucharist is the real essence, the real presence of body and blood of Christ? And how would you arrive at that answer? Now, one of the things we tend to do as human beings, again, is we rely very heavily on our physical senses. But if I got a consecrated host, the real presence, and an unconsecrated host, not the real presence, they would look the same. Our eyes would tell us they're the same. They would feel the same. They would smell the same. They would taste the same. But our physical senses are not what we're limited to. We all know people who've had some sort of life event. Kids going off to college and coming back, go off to war and coming back, some life event. And when we see them again, we know that even though they look the same, everything appears to be the same, all our senses are telling them it's the same person, we know deep inside something's changed. This is not the same person. So how do we get in touch with what do I believe about the real presence of Christ? I'm going to submit that what we have to do is follow Elijah's example in Kings when he was on the mountain. We got to clear away all the noise on the outside, all the news, all of that stuff coming at us from the outside. And we also have to quiet the monkey brain inside of us that's got all that noise going on between our ears and slow down and listen for that still, quiet voice. And ask ourselves, what does our behavior show what we believe? Because our behavior mirrors our true beliefs. Now, what we need to do is check our behavior against what Jesus told us in today's gospel when he said, give them some food yourselves. So how well are we doing to give what we receive, to give the food that we receive, right? The best food, which is love, which is Jesus, to the people outside. Remember, don't let your feelings dictate, and don't let your physical senses distract you. It's okay to say, I don't do as well as I should. It's not okay to be satisfied with that.